俗话说，有两个人的地方呢就有矛盾。在美国生活呢，邻里之间的纠纷也时有发生。但如果因为噪音或者栅栏等方面引起的争执，如何来处理呢？我们下面请教一下王明武律师 ，Attorney Wang. Very nice to see you.
My pleasure.
So, what does California law specifically say about noises from the neighbors? Those things can cause disputes.
If there's a dispute,
Yeah.
for example, the fence comes down, okay, you're going to have to contact your neighbor, and the two of you have to get together and generally pay for half of the fence. Unless one of you caused it, you might have to pay for it or repairs or putting the fence up yourself.
What about trees? I mean, if my neighbor's tree grow to my yard, encroached on my property, can I just cut it?
It's a wise idea to tell your neighbor you're going to cut it. If he doesn't, he needs to hire someone to cut those branches on your property at his cost, because that's his tree. Otherwise, if he doesn't, you have every right to cut down those branches on his tree that encroaches on your property only.
So I can, if he has agreed to allow me to trim, I can trim all the way to the property line, so nothing more.
If he doesn't agree, you still can. But you need to ask him first, because that's a wise idea. You want to keep your relationship with your neighbor at a friendly level.
There are some people like to grow things in the backyard. In Gilroy, you smell this garlic, and then people farm that in the area. Now, what if you don't like the smell, and what can you do?
In Gilroy, most of the land that has garlic smell is agricultural zone. They can grow garlic, and if you moved into that and you're smelling a lot of garlic, you really can't do anything about that.
You knew what you're getting into.
You knew what you're getting into.
Right.
If your neighbor's growing garlic, a lot of it,
right,
okay, and you're not happy with that, tell your neighbor that. If he can do that, look into the local ordinances. The city of Gilroy will have an ordinance addressing garlic in your backyard. They'll have something like that. They'll say you can do that, you can't, or you can do it with limited use, and that's a starting point in terms of whether you want to, get rid of the garlic from your property or not.
One of the common things that could cause tension between neighbors is the loud music played by one side, or the barbecue smoke, or the smoking secondhand smoke from the neighbors, or just the barking dog. They happen to have one. Now, what's the proper way to resolve those issues?
Well, those issues are what they call private nuisances. At least if you're the complaining
Right,
about that problem, you're going to feel as though it's affecting your privacy, okay? So, you should call to your attention to your neighbor and try to work that out peacefully, so the neighbor will stop doing that. If it doesn't work out peacefully, you can actually go to court and get an injunction if you could show that it really intrudes upon your private life. Okay, you can go to court and do that. Or you can basically, again, go to the city and look for the ordinances that addresses that specific problem. And if it does address that problem, then you hire a lawyer or go to your neighbor and say, look, you're violating this ordinance, stop it, or I will take you to court.
Well, great. Thank you so much.
本资讯由王明武律师事务所赞助提供。